You're watching Let the Quran Speak. Bullying was once viewed as a necessary rite of passage. It was seen as something that young people just had to endure. But it's now evident that bullying results in serious harm and long-term consequences. What does Islam say about the practice of bullying? And what can we do to prevent people from bullying others? Here with me is Dr. Shabir Ali, President of the Islamic Information Center. Brother Shabir, we've heard a lot about this in the news recently, or in the last couple of years, I guess, not just recently. Young people even committing suicide because they couldn't bear the effects of bullying.
Yes, in fact, a recent study has shown that in the United Kingdom alone, about 15 to 25 youth commit suicide as a result of bullying every year.
Mm-hmm.
And recently we were shocked out of our complacency by the pitiable story of Amanda Todd, in a BC teenager who was found hanging in her home. The conclusion was that she committed suicide as a result of cyberbullying. So this is a matter that needs our urgent attention. Parents need to be aware of this problem, and we have to have all of the right counseling tools to help our teenagers in particular, but more so children in general, and everyone to know how to respond to and how to deal with bullying. And as a society, we have to eradicate this problem.
It's interesting that you mentioned cyberbullying, because this is a new aspect of bullying. I mean, before we talked about physical bullying, verbal bullying, but now it's cyberbullying. It's gone online, and people are using Facebook and Twitter and other avenues to attack other people, to backbite about other people, to ruin their reputations in some ways.
Yes, bullying has always been around, and the internet has just created a new avenue. But more than this, it has made it possible for people to bully from a position of anonymity. It makes it possible for someone to assume a false identity and use that as the starting point for launching attacks on other people for bullying and for so many other deceptive tactics and methods. So the problem has actually been magnified as a result of this new phenomenon.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to someone who is a bully, who does, act out towards other individuals?
Well, our religious...
This could be in the school, in the workplace, anywhere, right?
Yes, our religious teachings are very clear about this. First of all, we can't backbite people. That's one of the manifestations of bullying. By backbiting, by spreading gossip, whether true or false, gossip about a person, you are actually trying to alienate that person and get friends on your side. So in a way, you're ganging up against this individual, belittling the individual. So backbiting is forbidden in our religion. The Quran also speaks against spying on other people. So discovering the secret so you can reveal it to others, or even to know it for yourself, so that you get a certain edge over the person. I know your secrets, I know your intimate details. The Quran prohibits us from calling people by dishonorable nicknames. There can be a nickname by which, friends call each other and they're quite fine with that, and nobody feels hurt or nobody's belittled. They're more the friends for calling each other by a name that is only used between them. But when it borders on something that the other person will start feeling humiliated about, then this has actually crossed the line. The Quran says, وَلَا تَنَابَزُوا بِالْأَلْقَابِ, do not humiliate each other or belittle each other by nicknames. So if one were to follow the religious teachings, I'm sure that other great religions have similar teachings that protect individuals against harm and teach others to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This kind of golden rule is known from many of the world's great religions, and people just simply are not following that. And the flip side of this is that they're following the devilish temptations, which puff them up with pride, make them conceited, want them to like lord it over others, to show I'm superior, I'm better than you. This is one of the most common characteristics that's known in bullying and
So
in
how
the
can
bully
we
himself.
inculcate the values that you're talking about? Because some people think that bullying is natural. I mean, if you think about the wider world, people who bully often get ahead. So how do you inculcate the values that you're talking about? You know, not mocking other people, not making fun of other people, not criticizing other people, being kind to people, even, you know, if they might be different from you.
I think society needs to return to its religious roots. We need to reclaim some of the religious teachings that we have been leaving behind. We've made a mistake by going all out towards materialism and trying to define success as, you know, having the car, having the house, having the corner office, rising up on the corporate ladder, defining oneself by a six-figure income, and so on. But by making these things the be-all and end-all of a person's self-definition, naturally we create this kind of competitive atmosphere where anything goes. It's a survival of the fittest, and you do what you have to do to get ahead, whether you lie, cheat, steal, bully, whatever the case is. You just do what you have to do to succeed, according to that definition of success. But if we change the definition of success, right from the very start, we let children know that success is not defined only in these terms. Success more likely should be defined in terms of how well we are able to serve society. And of course, we might be able to serve society better if we have some of the good things in life. We have that good car, that beautiful house. We have a good position where we can influence society for the better. So if all of these are harnessed for the purpose of serving other people and helping other people, then there is no sense of stepping on other people to get ahead, because the whole purpose of getting ahead is really to uplift other people. And if this sort of message is inculcated in our children right from the very start, I believe that we'll have a better society tomorrow.
Now, one feature of bullying is the role of onlookers, because sometimes bullies act out more because they know that they have an audience, and sometimes onlookers feel like they can't really do anything, that the bully might turn on them. So what is your advice for someone who is watching on the sidelines, not doing anything?
Yes, we should recognize that the passive observer here is actually a part of the problem, because that feeds into the ego of the bullier, who gets ahead by doing this, and he feeds on this. He wants to have an audience. He doesn't just want to bully, but he wants to show that he's bullying, and he feels more superior by knowing that he has others on his side who are either supportive of him or passively observing this, because the passive observers are in a way also afraid. Sometimes they're afraid of the bully himself, and that too adds to the power of the bully. So the only way to stop the bullying, according to the studies which I'm familiar with, is actually to stand up to the bully. If the victim of the bullying starts feeling humiliated and accepts that subjection to the humiliation, then this is a perpetual cycle. It continues, and the only way to break that cycle is to stand up to the bully. Of course, you may not have the physical means to. I don't mean getting into a physical fight, but use the resources that are available. Complain to authorities who can do something about this. So the passive observers, who are themselves afraid of the bully, can do the same thing. Complain to authorities, speak a word in favor of the victim, and stand up to the bully, because a large group of people can definitely do this without any fear of repercussions.
Do you think as a Muslim one has a responsibility to speak up in some way?
Yes, of course. The famous hadith, which is often announced on the pulpits in Muslim sermons, is one that encourages people to speak out when they see something going wrong. A Muslim cannot simply allow things to go wrong and be passive observers to that, and be a passive observer to that. Muslim must speak out, and of course, if one has the ability, then one changes it using one's ability, and whatever one's ability, one acts accordingly. So if the only thing we can do is to report the matter to an authority who can correct the problem, then this is what we must do as a civic duty.
One of the most heart-wrenching things for a parent is realizing that your child has been bullied. What advice would you give to a parent who's in that situation? What should they do?
Of course, I would like to add here that Muslims in particular should be aware that this could be a problem affecting their children,
yes.
because one of the targets of bullying could be persons of a different religious sort of upbringing. So when you're different from whatever is the accepted norm in the society or among your peers, then you could be singled out, you could be mocked at, you could be laughed at, either because somebody does not like the clothes you wear, or the sound of your name, or the smell of your lunch, or whatever. And it could be, it's not necessarily that they don't like these things, it's only that because these things are different, they can pick on these things, even though there might be likable things in their own right, but people can pick on these different things to single out the different person and make that person feel further isolated and humiliated and really sorry for himself or herself. Because Muslims may have names which are different from commonly known English sounding names, Muslim kids may carry lunch to school which are cooked with lovely tasting spices from other parts of the world, and so on. All of these could become the subject of racial and cultural and religious stereotyping and bullying.
So what's a parent to do then? I mean, sometimes a parent is not even aware that their child is being bullied at school.
Yes, parents have to be a little bit more involved. You have to talk to the children. The children come home from school. They have to ask about their day and have a good discussion going on. Look for troubling signs. If a child is becoming sick for no obvious reason, then this could be a result of bullying, because it's interesting that this happens, and also troubling that bullying, though it is a psychological matter, can have physical manifestations. A person may start becoming ill as a result of this stress. One can suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of repeated bullying. So the problem has to be addressed early, and that can only be done if parents are involved with their children. Parents need to also visit their schools, attend PTA meetings, talk to teachers, go to social events and graduation ceremonies, and so on. Be part of the school environment so that they understand how that situation is. They can feel the vibes that go on there, and also that there is an open communication between parents and teachers and students.
Very interesting discussion. Thank you for your insights,
You're welcome.
We'll take a break. When we return, we answer questions we receive from you, our viewers.